Good morning, you guys. It is day number 34 of my stay-batical to 50. This is my 100-day journey seeking to kickstart this physical and mental journey to better health. Those of you that have followed me for a long time know that I've been frustrated with just diet alone. And I think sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking just diet alone is enough. And so what I'm doing in this journey is not just diet, also incorporating regular fasting, as well as a series of biohacks. If you've missed any of those updates, definitely go over to my website, livinlavitalowcarb.com/staybatical. You can see all the past videos I've done, lots of posts I've done talking about the various biohacks I'm doing. It's been quite the ride, you guys. Day 34 is today. And yes, I'm a bit later than I have been. As I noted either last week or the week before, the sun keeps like pushing itself forward a little more. So here on the East Coast, plus it's been cloudy. When it's cloudy, it's hard to see it early in the day, but it don't get sun up till about 7:30 now. So that makes it a little bit hard to come on here at the same time I did at the beginning of the journey. So that's why I'm late. Plus, it was a wicked thunderstorm last night, lightning. It sounded like World War III out there. It was so loud. So I was awake for a little bit. When I post my sleep later, you guys will see I had this long chunk of awake time because of the thunderstorm. Woke me up out of the dead of sleep. I know some people sleep well in a thunderstorm. Not Jimmy. I'm very, very hyper aware of loud noises. So anywho, welcome. Thanks for being here today. So I wanted to bring up a topic, and it's a perfect topic for a Monday. So this is Monday. It's day 34 of my journey. But let's go back to 4 or 5 weeks ago when I started this journey. I did not start this stay-batical to 50 on a Monday. I started it on a Wednesday. And you might be like, okay, well, that's kind of a weird day to start. If I had to give you advice, I would say, what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting on Monday? Why are you waiting on January 1st? Why are you waiting for some arbitrary point on the calendar that really means nothing? It's just some arbitrary point. When you start waiting is when you're not ready. And I tell people who tell me they want to do a change and well, I'll get started soon. I'm like, no, soon will never come. You need to start now. Just start. And they're like, well, I'm not ready. In fact, at the farmer's market, this happened on Saturday, actually. Very sweet woman, Arlene, that I talked to there at the farmer's market. She sells the sugar scrub stuff. Yeah, Jimmy liked to smell sweet. So I got nice sugar scrub from this local provider. And Arlene's like, wow, Jimmy, you're doing well in your little sabbatical thing you're doing. I said, yeah. I said, it's been phenomenal. And all you need to do is just get going with it and it starts rolling. And she said, well, I know I need to do something. I just know I need to do something. So I told her 2 big words, just start. And then she looked back at me like, what? I said, yeah, just start. And guess what, Arlene? Right now, you're started. She's like, And I was like, what's the matter? You said you need to do something. Well, I need to prepare. And no, just start. And once you start, then you're on. Then the responsibility kicks in. Then the, oh crap, this is real, all of a sudden kicks in, which you need. If you want to make a change, that's what you need. And so she was taken aback. Her husband was back there laughing. I was like, you get on her. He's like, I ain't touching this one, man. I did tell her, I said, look, if you want to get serious about changing, I'll be your accountability partner. You know how to find me on Instagram. And so, but that hesitancy about wanting to start something That's amazing to me, because if you really desire change, if you really want to see the needle move either in your weight, in your health, or whatever goal you're pursuing, you just have to start. Let's be honest. It ain't going to do itself, and it's not going to do it without your daily input into making it happen. And I've told you guys this before. When I've had to take a day off because I needed rest, I always worry about getting out of the routine and going back into the habit of not doing all the things that I'm doing. And it's a real thing. And you kind of miss it when you don't do it, even for a day. And so from there, you just have to pick it back up again. But for those of you that have not started anything at all, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Just start. And I know that sounds simplistic, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, because there's a reason why. It's simple. That's why. This is not hard. You just start. So I want to hear from you guys. What are some of the reasons, if you're in this position now, that you're hesitant about starting a journey? Just lay your soul bare here today. We're all friends and family. Just let her rip. Why would you be hesitant about starting? Or what are some of the reasons you hear from other people about why they're hesitant and why they're waiting to get started? They'll say, well, I'll start blah, blah, blah in the future. Okay. And then blah, blah, blah gets here and they don't. All right. Or if you overcame that, what was it that convinced you? Tell me what it was that after so many years of hesitating and saying that you're waiting on X, what was it that pushed you over the edge to do it? Did your weight get so bad that you absolutely had to? Did you have health markers go awry on you that it made it necessary? What happened that made it real for you? I definitely want to hear from you. I am going to be full disclosure to you guys today. My right ankle is killing me. I had a really bad night's sleep because of that thunderstorm last night. Woke up for about 2.5 hours in the middle of the night. And I had slept pretty good up until then. And then the thunderstorm woke me up wide awake. And so I woke up not long ago, once the thunderstorm calmed down. And so anyway, got out of bed and that right ankle is angry. But we're out here anyway. I'm not letting that be the reason why I push pause on this. No. I'm being prudent about it. If it was truly hurting, like debilitating, I would not be out here. But let me hear from you. It is day number 34 of my sabbatical to 50. 100 days. I'm on this journey, and I'm just over a third of the way there now. But I want to hear from you guys on this topic that I brought up here today. What are you waiting on? Just start. What makes it so hard for people to get started on a journey? Now, I've talked about this before. A lot of times our brains will try to lead us down the path of least resistance. So let's go back to Arlene at the farmer's market. She saw how well I'm doing, and she said, I know I need to get started on a journey myself. So when I confronted her with it, so start right now. It means she's not ready for a journey to get started. She's not. Because if she was, she'd have been like, you know what? You're right. And in fact, I think she gave me lip service to that effect of, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, if you know, do it. Knowledge without action is completely useless. It's like a screen door on a submarine. How effective is that? And so we tell ourselves these things, and they're usually not true, of I can't because. What are those excuses, guys? Let me hear them. All right, let me scroll back to the top, see what you guys have to say. Thanks for being here on day number 34 of my sabbatical to 50. Rosalie says, good morning. I finally caught you live on your morning walk. Yes, as the sun has risen later in the morning, I've gone live later. So thinking about a month from now, which will be early November, right before time change, it's probably going to be close to like 8:30 East Coast time that I'll be going live. So I apologize to those of you that maybe watch me on the way to work or whatever, and you're like, you're going later. But yeah, if I came out here in the dark, which I did one day, started out in the dark and people complained, I'm like, all right, guys, you have to work with me here. Plus, it was supposed to be raining about this time of day, but I think the rain came sooner than they expected in the forecast. And so it's going to be dry the whole walk here today. But thank you for being here. Good morning. Keep Austin Keto. Linda says it's just above freezing here, so I have to wear boots to walk my deck. Yuck. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Linda. If it was freezing here, like 30s, I would love it. I'd be out here in short and t-shirt and loving it because I love the cold, as you guys well know. Although I did tell you the other day, that ice bath is starting to get a little more cold than it was at first. At first, I'm like, yes, give me all the ice bath. And now I'm getting in the ice bath and I'm going, okay. So I'm getting a little colder, which is a good sign. It means I'm losing some of the insulation on this body, which is one of the purposes of this sabbatical. Laurie says, I started today walked 60 minutes. That's awesome, Laurie. Look, there's so many benefits to walking. It's just good. And if you make it a habit, then you'll do it. Which is why I do it. Because I know in your mind, you're like, I could never walk. And then you do it and you're like, I don't know why I didn't think I could walk. So, and maybe that's some of the reticence that people are hesitant. They convince themselves it's too hard, it's too this, it's too that. And when they actually do it, then they're like, well, hang on a minute. I can do it. And it becomes empowering when you do the thing that you think you can't do. You feel empowered. And that's the beauty of a journey. And look at what you rob yourself of by convincing yourself, well, I'll just wait. I'll just wait until. Look at all that time. And it always happens around the holidays. They're coming up here soon. I'll wait till after Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. And I'll start January 1st. And I'm thinking, okay, but if you start now, look at what a head start you can have in the new year over all the other people starting a new journey in January. And let's be honest, you start that one in January, you're on it a couple of weeks and then you're off. So then what did you accomplish? So start now. Just start. It's sage advice at any time of the year. Eating Clean says, I have my rest days scheduled, so they are a part of my routine. That's good that you schedule them in there. I like to listen to my body and let my body tell me when I need rest. Because let's say I schedule a rest day for Wednesday. Wednesday gets here and I feel physically fantastic and my mindset is right and all the things are going well. Why would I want to rest that day? Whereas on a day that I'm scheduled to do all the things, say Friday, I feel like crap and I really don't want to do it. My body's giving me lots of signals not to do it, but it's a day I'm supposed to go. No. So I like the idea of listening to your body. And I did a whole episode of one of my walk and talks all about this, of listening to your body intently, because it will give you clear signals if you need a rest or if you need to go and push yourself that day. But that's good that you've got it in your schedule. It's unspoken in my schedule. If I need a rest day, I just take it. I did it on Saturday after walking 24,000 steps on Friday. 15 miles Friday I walked. Homeboy needed a rest on Saturday. Kira says, please tell me they don't know where to start, or people tell me they don't know where to start. There's no correct way to start. You start by starting. Yes, exactly. People think if they're going to start on some journey that they have to be perfect with it. And some of that's personality types, that they don't want to start anything until it's absolutely perfectly in place for them. And that applies to all areas of life. Your personal life, your business life, your relationships, all of that. And you're right. Just start. Just start. The people that are reticent to even begin, I'm like looking at them side-eye going, are you serious about this? Because if you are, you would just start. You would stop the waiting. When they say, well, I'll start, tomorrow, I'll start on Monday, I'll start New Year's Day. That's just them saying, I'm not committed. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, screw that. You gonna hear it bluntly from me. Start. I was kid gloves with Arlene at the farmer's market. But I said, don't make me come down there and pull you out of bed in the morning and take you on a walk. And she's laughing about it. But hopefully I got through to her that it's better to start and seemingly fail than to not start at all. Hear me on that. It's better to start and believe that you failed in whatever you're attempting than if you'd never started at all. Because here's what happens with the two scenarios. If you start and you fail, okay, you learned what not to do, start something new. If you start and succeed, you're off to the races. If you don't start and do anything and keep the status quo as it is right now, guess what happens? Not a damn thing. It requires you to start. Any journey to success always requires action at the beginning. I don't know anybody successful that said, nah, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to choose inaction. And then they become successful. Not one single occurrence of that in all of human history has ever happened. It's always predicated on you took an action. You took that first step. You stopped waiting and you just started. Linda said, hesitant to start as I've always ended up failing in the end, so I postpone. This time I'm bound and determined to succeed. Let's talk about failure. People look at failure as this worst thing that could possibly happen. I don't. Failure is the stepping stone to success. Hear that one loud and proud. Failure is the stepping stone to success. Meaning, if you're succeeding at anything in life, anything, and you're not having failures along the way, and you can define failure in a variety of ways. Failure doesn't mean all hope is lost always. Failure doesn't mean just flat on your face. Failure could be, look, I had a goal of walking 2 60-minute sessions a day, and I only do one, sometimes two, but mostly just one a day. Have I failed? I could tell myself I'd failed because the original protocol was 2. Have I failed because I haven't flipped the tire yet? I could tell myself that, or I could say, you know what? I haven't yet, but I'm going to when my body is ready for that. So in your mind, just come up with what that definition of failure actually means. Did you actually fail, or did you tell yourself you failed? Those are two different things. You can tell yourself, and trust me, your brain is going to say, I don't know what you're trying for. This is too hard. It's too much. You messed up. You failed. Just go back to what you were doing because this ain't working. And more times than not, that's a lie. That's a big old lie. And if you got a big old liar in your ear, it's hard to resist that. And it's hard to turn that down and say that the truth is something else, because we're very convincing of the things we believe. Brittany says, first time my weight on scale impacted my start. Second time my mental health was demanding a change. Yes, when you are hesitant, which is what she's describing, her experiences, when you're hesitant, you got the mind games going on about your weight. Well, I'm too big. But then that's what convinced you. Okay, now I'm following you, Brittany. So first time, the thing that convinced you to stop waiting was your weight. You didn't like yourself. I think you told me this in a picture with some friends, and you're like, whoa, that's out of control. Time to reel that in. And pictures will do that. I remember back in the 90s, I was playing some basketball on a basketball court in the neighborhood, and somebody videotaped. Back before they had iPhones, they had actual like camcorder things. So somebody camcordered me, and I couldn't believe what I saw on that screen, because I see myself in the mirror, but I never saw that version of Jimmy. And it woke me up, because I was like, whoa, big boy, you got to do something. Of course, back then I didn't know anything about low-carb diets, so low-fat diets it was. We did that little up, down, up, down, up, down with the low-fat diets. Then the second time, Brittany said, that convinced her was her mental health demanded a change. And look, people look at a health journey and they only think about the physical. Well, I don't have weight on the body. That's too bad. Although, said no one ever, especially women. You ladies, you convince yourself that you've got weight on the body. And most people looking at you would be like, you crazy. No, you don't. No, you don't. I saw a friend on Instagram the other day. She made this little reel. And in the reel, she had this little song playing. And she had the words on the screen that said, if I only knew in my 20s, ... She's now in her late 30s. If I only knew in my 20s that this wasn't fat. And she showed a picture of herself. And she thought in her mind that that was a fat person. And she wasn't. And now she's in her 30s having more struggles than she did in her 20s, and actually having to do a little more to move the needle. And she's like, I wasted so many years of my life. And I know you guys can relate. You waste a lot of years of your life worrying about your weight when you don't need to. Philly Keto Mom says, in the past, it is figuring out time management. Yes, that is a biggie. But a lot of times people say, I don't have time to work on myself. I said, you either have time and make it, or your body is going to make time for you. And so, yes, juggling around the time, and I have great sympathy for you moms, especially, who have got all the chillins you got to take care of, and a husband and all the things. I got mad respect for you, because you can't just on a whim just up and go out of the house without a plan. So having that time management, you're right, that is a big one. Between jobs, kids, marriage, and not having support at home has contributed to pushing things off. I've started my journey and I've found the time. Yes. Look, I think we should all assess where our time goes. because if you're waiting because of a time issue, look at where you're investing your time and think about balancing the budget in your checking account. You would not just spend willy-nilly, not knowing where the money goes. Well, some people do, but responsible people would not do that. Same with your time. Look at it as a fixed budget. You've got 24 hours in the day. And then you just start filling in where you're accounting for money, or in this case, time. And you see where it goes. Do you really need that 3 hours of Netflix and chill? Possibly. By the way, I'm going to turn around here. This is Caldwell Drive. My ankle has slowed me down a little bit today, so my pace is not as quick as it has been. And that's okay. I'm still out here walking, doing all the things. But yes, you make the time. You budget the time. You figure out when that time is best for you, not the benefits that we get from it. If you only look at it, well, I don't have time, it means you're ignoring what that investment of time into your health would produce. And that's a big mistake. You've always got to be mindful of for me. What is this time I'm investing going to give me back later? And look, maybe you have quality of life issues now that investing this time will give you back better quality of life on the back end of it. It's something to consider always. Sharb says, people say it's too hard. Define hard. Having diabetes and having your legs amputated, that's hard too. Dealing with trying to get on an airplane and the seatbelt not clasping, that's hard too. So define what hard means is what I would say back to these people. Life is hard. As my friend Brittany would say, when life gets hard, you push harder. And so people use hard as an excuse, but all of life is hard. And then the other one Sharp says is, everyone else eats that and they're okay. Well, good for them. That's them. This is you. This is not a journey about anybody else. It's about you. That's how I would respond to that one. Let them do what they're going to do, and don't assume that they're eating whatever they want and they're okay. Don't assume they're okay. They may not be manifesting as weight today, but it will manifest as disease down the road if they keep eating crap. So keep Austin keto. I would add my workouts to my list in pencil. Ooh, the end of the day would come and I'd say, I'll do it tomorrow. So I started writing my workouts in red pen. Yes, it's hard to erase red pen, isn't it? And so that's a biggie. We want to just pencil in the things we want to do and need to do, but we're not committed when we do that. Trust me, yesterday I got to the end of the day and I was still way behind on my various protocols that I'm doing, but I got them all in. In fact, to the point that I was in the ice bath and all I had left was the meditation. And so I decided the last 10 minutes of my ice bath, I'm going to meditate in the cold water. Now, you want to talk about a wicked experience, you guys. Meditation's amazing in and of itself alone. But when you're sitting in an ice bath that I've been in for almost an hour at that point, that's transcendental there. Woo! But you get it in. And I love that. You write it in red pen. That red ink will not let you fall back. Brittany says, I used to find all the excuses because if you look for them, you will find them. Then one day, no excuse was good enough to hold me back. And that's the point you want to get to, you guys. Brittany is so right. Get to the point where the excuses are lame compared to the why of what you're doing. And when you're pursuing something in your life, nothing will stop you if you're sincere about it. If it's something that you deeply desire to want to do, you will no longer wait. You will just start. And not just start, but be enthusiastic about it. Brittany will tell you day one of her 75 hard, which she finished on Thursday last week. Kudos, Brittany. She just started. It was like she just was doing the things and realized, holy crap, all I've got left is this and this, and I've done day one of 75 hard, and it just began. That's a woman who knew change needed to happen, and she just started. Even unbeknownst to her, she just started. So that was cool. And then she just accomplished the thing. That day 75 feeling, it's got to be amazing. And I'm going to feel it on December 10th on day 100. For me, it's going to be a celebration, guys. But that's a long way from now. Laurie says it's so good for mental health, let alone physical health. Yes, talking about walking, it is. So, I just ran this test called the OATS test, OATS. It's an organic acids test that shows you how your metabolism is working. And I got the results back. I don't want to say a whole lot about them just yet because I want to cast about it. Good morning, guys. And so it came back that my neurotransmitters were off because my gut health is off. Either there's some bad bugs in there that need to be cleaned out or something. And so the person that ran the test for me, she knows me personally, and she's like, you're supposed to have dopamine all out of whack. Most people that deal with this, they're having mood issues up and down. But I don't hear that in you, Jimmy. So maybe you're not noticing that your neurotransmitters are off. And maybe you could feel even better if we cleaned up some of the gut health stuff. So we're gonna work on that. But that was fascinating to me that my gut was in such shape that I should be having bad mental health issues. And she even noted, you're doing that walk every day, aren't you? Yeah. You're doing all these other biohacks. Yeah. She's like, that might be offsetting where your neurotransmitters are off. So you're getting a dopamine hit, even though it's fleeting, you're getting a dopamine hit from those things. And it's offsetting that you have these neurotransmitter issues. So thought that was interesting. I'm pretty happy-go-lucky all the time. Have been for most of my life. So that's good that it hasn't affected my mood. I should ask my best friend who's on here, Brittany. Am I moody, Brittany? And you can be honest. I don't think I am. Linda says, I don't mind the cold. It just makes for slippery walking. Oh, yeah. If it was icy out here, that would be precarious for me. Brittany says, I was bad at not starting things because the unachievable perfectionist world paralyzed me. Now I don't give a fuck. If it's perfect, I just do the damn things. Yes. Look, you're not alone there. Your personality type that needs things to be just perfect. That definitely feeds into that. But the world demands perfect, as you're saying. And so, when the world demands perfection of you, it makes you hesitate and wait. And so, that is a biggie. But yeah, when you let that go and you just go and just start, it's a life changer. It's a game changer. Good morning. How are you? Okay. Good morning, Karen. Thanks for being here. Hello, ultra fat to ultra runner. Karen says, kudos to all the moms out there. I've been there, done that. Stay the course. Moms are heroes. They always have been to me. My mom was a single mom for a good portion of my childhood that I remember. And I saw how she struggled to make ends meet. And she struggled doing all these things, seemingly trying to be healthier. She did all these low-fat diet things. She did all these exercise types of things. She tried to do everything right. The problem was she had all the wrong information. If I'd known anything about low-carb diets in the 80s, I would have definitely helped her with that. But yeah, moms today, you got the hustle and bustle of everything with the kids. So mad respect for you ladies that make it work and you don't wait, you just go. Kira says, I'm in better shape now at 50 years old than I was at 30 years old. So when people tell me they're too old to start or that their metabolism's too slow to start, I just say, ha, never too late to start. Yes, that is a big one too. And I think I told the story about my mama, that she's 71 now. And she said, yeah, I'm just too old to care anymore. I'm just like, ugh. No, you're always the age to care. You're always the age, as you said, Kira, to do something. Again, that's the brain convincing us of all the reasons not to. All the wascally reasons why we should. All the reasons why we should not get started. Our brain tells us that and hesitate. And so, yeah, you got to let that stuff go. Age is just a number. Turning 50 on December 27th, and I want to feel better than I have in my entire life. And that's a big deal. Because a lot of people feel their best in their 20s and 30s. And usually after 40, it's like, okay, good luck. And I want to buck that trend. I want to feel better in my 50s and 60s than I have in my whole life. And I think I will. When I stay committed to this, there's no stopping you. As Brittany said earlier, there's no stopping you. You wake up one day and you go, yep, this is it. I'm doing it. Nothing will stop you. Nothing will make you wait at that point. You're off to the races. And as long as you keep that fire in your belly going strong, nothing will stop you. Bulletproof Coconut says, I've heard the quote, if it is important enough, you'll make time for it. Yeah. Look, we make time for the things we value in our life. Listen to that again. We make time for the things we value in our life. And so if you value your health, what are you currently doing to make time for it? What are you doing? Are you blocking off portions of your day to meal prep, to learn, reading a book, listening to a podcast? Are you getting out on a walk and maybe listening to an audiobook or something like that to further educate yourself while physically getting active? Which, by the way, if you're at the gym and you're working out or you're out on a walk and you've got an audiobook or a podcast in, you will remember the information you hear more because that blood is flowing throughout your body and especially in your brain. And I have many audiobooks that I was doing while working out that I can remember when I listen back to that audiobook again. I can remember the machine I was on at a gym that that memory associated those words at that moment with that experience. Anybody else got that kind of brain where hearing a song on the radio, same thing? I hear some 80s songs and I'm immediately back to 11 years old, 13 years old again. Just like, whoa, that's a wicked mind trick you did there, brain, reminding me of when that song became so emburned in my head. It was emburned with a memory. Sometimes good memories. Sometimes, holy crap, why did I remember that memories? Karen says, oh, look at Jimmy go with the meditation. Yes, it took me a while. I went away on my trip to Orlando recently at the biohacking conference. And I went out to a Brazilian steakhouse with my friend Ben Azadi, some other friends, and then another friend I've known since the paleo days, Tara Garrison. And Tara is a fitness and nutrition expert. And I was telling her about, or she was asking about the sabbatical because she had noticed the changes. And she said, so what all are you doing? I told her all the protocol. And I said, the only one that's hanging me up is meditation. I'm not getting into it. She's like, what do you mean getting into it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel it. She's like, you just do it. You just start. What are you waiting on? Go. And I'm like, but what about my mind one? Yeah, that's a part of it. I was trying to throw every excuse for why I wasn't doing it or why I couldn't do it. And she aptly called me out. Just do it. Just start. And I get back home, you guys, and I pop on YouTube and I type in meditation, guided meditation. Lots of cool stuff on there, by the way. And I hit a 10-minute meditation. And I just sat there and went through it. And at the end of that, I went, holy crap. That's amazing. And I tagged Tara in the story, and she's like, told ya. And it is. It's so easy. If you don't meditate, and people think, okay, that's kind of woo-woo. I'm a Christian. I don't believe it. Okay, fine. Meditate by praying, whatever. There's Christian meditations if that floats your boat. All I know is that breathing, that slowing down, that relaxing the body, letting the tension out of your muscles, it works wonders. And I like to do it towards bedtime because it does relax you. And I did it in the ice bath yesterday. Whew, that was wicked intense. But I am looking forward to the day that I go longer than 10 minutes. I only do 10 but out of time constraints right now because all these biohacks I'm doing, it probably takes me about 4 to 5 hours. If I do a second walk, add another hour to that to get through them all. And not complaining, just saying that's a good chunk of my day to do all these things. So if I make a 10-minute meditation into an hour meditation, but I would love to, maybe over a weekend when I've got a little more relaxed schedule, I will try a 1-hour meditation. I need to make sure I go to the bathroom first so I don't have to go to the bathroom in the middle of it. Hang on, meditation guide. I got to go pee, so pause. But yes, meditation, Karen. I am loving it now. Brittany says, my life has been hard. Exercise and taking care of myself is not hard for me in comparison. That is true. When you think about the stuff you've been through in your life, any given person, not just you, Brittany, I know the stuff you've been through, but any given person, think about the things you've been through in your life that were truly hard. And now imagine starting some kind of health journey, which is harder. She's right. You're going to find that this health journey is nothing by comparison. Nothing by comparison. Today is hard AF day, but I am still pushing and doing life. Yeah. When life gets hard, you push harder, as you like to say. Life will always be hard, but how are you going to respond to that stimulus? Going to quit, or are you going to use that to grow the muscle of resilience? Brittany on fire today. Brittany, I need to bring you on to one of these walk and talks with me. I wish Brittany lived closer. We could walk together and both drop some mad knowledge on you guys, mad wisdom. She did confirm, no, I'm not moody. Good answer. I'll checks in the mail, Brittany. But But yeah, that oats test showed neurotransmitters a little off. Dopamine production's happening, but then it's fleeting and it goes away really fast. I'm like, okay, but I still feel good all day, so it's kind of weird that it's fleeting. The good news is there was no mold, so that was cool. And it checked for other toxicity, heavy metals. It was unsure. There were several really cool findings. I don't want to spoil it. We'll do a whole episode on Instagram Live about it to talk about the various things that were in that test. Alice says, making myself a priority and getting to the gym right after work today. Goal is 3 days a week, and I've done that now for a month. Alice, that is amazing. And it's all a matter of building that habit. People are reticent to start because, well, this is out of my routine. And we are such routine homebodies, aren't we? We are. We like to go through the motions of the things that we have in our life. And when we get out of that, or if we try to add something new to that, our brain rebels. No, this is new. This is not normal. But think about all the things you do right now. At some point, all of those were new. All of those were not normal. And yet now they're a part of your routine. And so look at anything new you add as it could be the next set of normal in your life. Look, I've made these habits that I've been doing the last 34 days a big part of my normal. To the point that when I have a day off to rest, I'm pining for them. I'm going, oh, I need that 60-minute walk. Oh, I need to be in the infrared sauna. Oh, I need the ice bath. But no, when I commit to a rest day, I rest. And so I've worked that into the plan as well of, all right, when I'm on, I'm on. And when I'm off, I'm off. It's like fasting. When I'm fasting, I'm not eating, which, by the way, 25 hours of fasting right now. Every other day, getting in at least 24 hours of fasting. So I love that. Feel good on that. But on the days that I eat. And I don't hold back. Same way with the protocols. On the days that I'm doing them, I'm doing them. On the days that I take a rest, I'm resting. And I think it's paid off. Good morning, Dale. Shirley says, hello. Just got finished with a walk with my daughter and dogs. Having people to walk with sure makes the time go by faster. I'm usually alone on my walk. That's one reason I started my walk is I know a lot of people do get out and walk in the mornings. I know your schedule's not always the same as mine, although you can watch this on the replay and start it at the beginning of your walk if you're not watching live. And I'm a buddy right there with you. And that's the same reason, Shirley, that I go live when I take my walk in the morning is it's quiet, alone. And sometimes you need that, and that's cool. But sometimes you want somebody to be there that feels you, understands your pain, all the things. A lot of people listen to podcasts or audiobooks, or they listen to some crazy guy on Instagram. Here we are. Karen says, my mom is 88. Her physical therapist said, never give up. Yes. Till the good Lord takes you home, you don't give up. You are so right. Bulletproof Coconut says, my brain will associate music with an activity too. Yes, it's amazing what your brain will recall from various stimuli. Like I hear those little noises from the morning out here. And I'll sometimes hear them in the morning when I'm not walking. And I'll think about being on this trail because I hear them while I'm out here walking. It's wicked how the brain does that. Eating Clean says, I've been planning my meals, journaling for the past week, day planning, getting my thoughts and plans on paper helps. Instead of being on Facebook for 30 minutes, I do this. Perfect. Yeah. Social media, again, I know I'm on it right now, but social media is a time suck. It can lead you down rabbit trails. YouTube, I think, is the worst. You watch a video and then the algorithm says, oh, you like those kind of videos? Here's another 10. And you just start watching and watching and watching and watching. And before you know it, 3 hours later, where did my day go? Dale says meditation will do it for you. It's amazing. Yes, I agree. So guys, day number 34 of my stay-batical to 50. This is my 100-day journey, seeking to transform my body, my mind. A lot of you guys have been here since day one of this journey. And you've watched all the ups, downs, in-betweens.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And so, it's been quite the ride. And I still feel like I've only just begun. Even though I've seen a lot of changes and gotten into good habits, it still feels like I just started. I think because it's so much longer before it's over. And that's okay. Look, I've got big changes I'm trying to make happen. Big changes. And we need to be patient in the midst of that. One thing I did that was the best thing I did on this journey was I just started. Had I not just started, none of this would be happening right now. I would still be saying, well, I'll start when ... fill in the blank. And that's not negotiable. That's a non-starter. If you say, I'll start any other time than right now, you're setting yourself up to fail. And then you lament, nothing ever changes. I can't ever get ahead. Woe is me in my life. And you can have your little pity party moment. That's cool. But you'll learn that you've put your own excuses in your own path. And the moment you let those things go is the moment you'll start thriving. Because you'll get out there and you'll do the things that you need to do. And I can tell you, having been at this 34 days now, it's worth it. It's worth it. When you let go of those things that are holding you back and stop waiting and start going, start doing, start being, start becoming what you desire, nothing holds you back. Nothing. Look, I've had many excuses throughout this journey, injuries and tweaks and things. My right ankle, by the way, at the very beginning of this, I was limping because my right ankle was buckling on me. Here I am at the end of the walk. That right ankle is strong AF. It's not hurting at all now. Sometimes it just needed a little bit of priming in the morning. I'm the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. Need a little oil to grease that ankle. And now I'm doing good. And so we let those aches and pains and obstacles, seeming obstacles, get in our way when all we needed to do was start today. So hopefully you guys were encouraged by this today. Thanks for hanging out with me on my walk. Day 34 of my stay-batical to 50. As always, join me when I go live in the mornings. Most mornings I'm up with the sun here on the East Coast, which is slowly getting later and later and later. When I first started 34 days ago, the sun was up at 6:45. Now it's up at 7:26. So I have to adjust with the daylight. But join me in the mornings for the live. Or if you miss the live, you can watch it on IGTV, on replay, YouTube. It's also there. I do the hashtag stay-batical to 50 if you want to find them, all the videos. And then Facebook, I also put it over there. And then you can see all the episodes over on my website, livinlavidalowcarb.com/. stay batical. Got all the posts that I've done about this on social media, all the videos embedded there. So if you missed anything, that's where you check it out. But thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. I'll be back again real soon with another video. And until then, we'll see you then.